Right now, I'm going to turn your attention to this screen. You should be all seeing what I'm seeing now. And this is pretty straightforward. It's a poll everywhere poll. While I talk, feel free to take a few moments to pop some answers into this poll everywhere. And again, I appreciate everybody's patience while I got this all figured out. Again, my name is Arturo. I work for University Recreation. I've been working for campus for about 3 years now. And I'm the coordinator for the challenge program and the climbing wall. And today I want to talk about comfort zones and what that means. And what better way to talk about comfort zones than to put me outside my comfort zone right off the bat. I totally planned that. So as you put in some answers here into this poll everywhere, you can either text or you can go to the web link up at the top. The answers that you post will populate on this poll. Again, for simplicity, text to Arturo, Gavila 8892 37607. We're starting to get our first response. Well, the awesome thing about Poll Everywhere is as these submissions are entered, they start to grow in size depending on the frequency of those inputs. Thank you, Bonnie, for security. Anybody feel free to also just type it into the chat. That's more than appropriate for this type of interaction. What I want to do is try to get a common understanding of what this group identifies as comfort zone. Bedroom, couch, friends. I love the pattern that's recurring. Patterns also in there. Security. Seeing a lot of security in here, seeing a lot of familiarity, a routine clearly standing out here in these first few moments. Feel free to keep populating that with information. I'm going to transition us over here in a moment, but we'll take another look at this here in, towards the end of our discussion. So you should be able to see my PowerPoint. And again, this is just operating the ins and outs of comfort zone. And by no means am I going to pretend to know every single thing about comfort zones. There's a lot of folks out there, yourselves included, that are pretty well versed in what a comfort zone might be. So I highly encourage folks throughout this process to engage in either the chat or by voice. I highly recommend those pieces because I definitely value anything that you all might have to say. So with that, what I want to do next is take those concepts that we just discussed within, or that we just saw within the Poll Everywhere responses, and I'm going to ask you all to whip out your annotation tool. So to do that, you're going to use your mouse to scroll to the top of your screen where it says View Options. Under View Options, you're going to click the Annotate tool, and you're going to click on the Stamp button. You should then be able to post a stamp on the screen, much like I just did with my other screen. Go ahead and everybody practice that. Go ahead and stamp the board at your leisure. The beauty is I do get to clear this board at my leisure. So whenever I see some engagement there, beautiful, great work, everybody. I'll clear us out. Cool, cool, cool. And so what I'm going to ask you all here in a moment is to stamp where you belong on this spectrum. As I remember how to clear my screen of annotations. There we are, clear all drawings. What I'm going to have us do is stamp somewhere on the board, depending on where you lie. But before we get in too far into the weeds there, as we discuss comfort zone, I want to talk about these three spectrums. So comfort zone, naturally, we already have a little bit of common language. We saw security, we saw family. Some of us saw couch, some of us saw bedroom, some of us had family. And so naturally there's a spectrum to what comfort zones are. And so I want to use this spectrum to help us continue to talk about the ins and outs of our comfort zone. Once you get outside your comfort zone, really a lot of folks will identify that being as the growth zone. You have to be outside your comfort zone to grow as an individual. That's definitely something that we operate under within my program at the challenge program. But if you go too hard, too fast, naturally you can end up in the danger zone. And so to continue to describe this, what I want to ask everybody to do, if possible, is to interlink their fingers, just like so, with one top laying over the top of the other. And again, this is comfort zone. This is your default. This is what you prefer to do. And this feels normal to you, and this could be used to represent that security that you're looking for. But now what I want you to do is, if you can all see on my screen, is to take to the thumb that's on top, unlink, and link so it's on the bottom. It's like holding hands with somebody and is just not quite right. It's a little bit uncomfortable for some. I mean, yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm still kind of comfortable with it, but my default would naturally be, for me, my right hand thumb on top of my left hand. And this is me in my comfort zone when my right hand is on top. If I shift to being with my right hand underneath, then I'm suddenly in my growth zone. And I could eventually get comfortable with the concept of having my left hand on top, but naturally I'm going to default to what works for me. So for danger zone, again, going back to the idea, you went too hard, too fast, and you're in a place where you're shutting down. There are some times that we might operate in our danger zone. I think back to me learning to drive at, I believe, 15, and I was on the road and I thought, what's going on? I don't want to be here. This is dangerous. Why would anybody drive? And I looked forward to the day where I'd be comfortable driving. So what I'm going to ask from all of us is to, again, stamp on the board where you lie in terms of comfort. So let me pull up my list real quick. I should be able to, without transitioning you over, there we are, see how comfortable are you using Zoom? So on this board, on this zones of comfort board, go ahead and stamp how comfortable you are using Zoom. Naturally, the hearts and the X's I will not be able to see as well on the red. So you're really testing my eyesight, but that's okay. If you want to represent the danger zone and you want to put something in there and it's red, feel free to mark outside the danger zone as well. Cool. It sounds like for the most part, everybody's pretty comfortable using Zoom. And that makes sense. We've been operating at this level for what feels like months, but is realistically 2-3 weeks, I've been told. And a lot of us have grown comfortable or are still in our growth zone. And so we're still in that operating range where things are okay. You know, they're not perfect, but they're still okay. So my next question is, how comfortable were you using Zoom 2 months ago? So I will clear the board because that will be really helpful for this process. Clear all drawings, and let's try that again. So we see this transition where we kind of expand. If we were using Zoom 2 months ago, folks would be kind of treading into the danger zone or completely in the danger zone. I'm seeing one individual all the way out here, and I completely feel that because the day I got told we're moving online was the day where I was like, I don't know how. I was desperately searching for questions, but as we spent time there, I slowly, crashed back into the growth zone and into the comfort zone. Cool. So a little bit of a change of pace then. How comfortable are you cooking an egg. Beautiful. And I'm going to start to rapid fire some of these prompts. That way we can continue to get some momentum. What I'm trying to do at this point is gain some understanding of where we might lie. Cool. Now that I've got some folks' submissions, it seems like everybody's for the most part clear or comfortable with the concept of cooking an egg. Some occasionally are in the growth zone and some are absolutely in their danger zone. Maybe that's at the risk of your own kitchen or just the egg itself. How about poaching an egg? Does that change? Does that shift? And to me, this is fascinating in that we can really be comfortable with something that is as simple as cooking an egg. But the minute we change the process, we start to see some nuance in how comfortable we are. Maybe we have to pull up the internet and Google how to poach an egg. And yeah, we're in our growth zone, still capable of doing it. Or we Google it and we're like, I don't think I can do that. And you have a bad time and you're in your danger zone while poaching an egg. Wonderful. I'm gonna take a peek at my list again. So you might see a screen shift again. Yep. How comfortable are you singing in the car? Okay, so we're seeing some folks who are very comfortable singing in the car. Again, just in an effort to rapid fire these. Now, how comfortable are you? Is there anyone else in the car? It's a very valid question. Depends on the situation, right? Well, how about this then? How comfortable are you singing in front of a group of people that you do not know? Okay, starting to see some of these populated. Oh, some folks lost the annotation tool. There we go. That should work for you again. Sorry about that, everyone. Some people are clumping up in the the exterior fringes of the screen because you would not want to sing in front of people that you don't know. And I completely understand that. Some people are a little closer to the danger zone and some people are still very much in their comfort zone. Now, for a lot of folks, that growth zone also exists. Wonderful. And how about how comfortable are you calling someone out on their actions or their behaviors? It could be as simple as someone who didn't do their dishes or somebody who said something inappropriate. With the annotation tool, by the way, when you use the spotlight feature, only one person can have control of the spotlight at a time. Fun fact. So we have a lot of folks who are in the growth zone for this. And this is really fascinating to me because well, we talk about this idea of being able to, this is what you should do in X circumstance. But when we really get down to that moment, it can really be difficult. It's still challenging for us. It doesn't necessarily mean because we should do X response, it's going to be easy for us. I just saw a video a couple days back in which a parent was scolding their child in front of a supermarket for being rude to the grocer, and you could tell that the parent was uncomfortable. You could tell that the child was uncomfortable, but that parent wasn't doing that because they wanted to. It's because they had to. And you could very much see that these folks were in their growth zone, but it was very much imperative for them to continue to operate. Cool. So I'm going to clear the screen. And this last prompt will be, how comfortable are you driving in a new city? This is my effort in getting a general sense of where we lay in a large scale zones of comfort. So now at this point, I think we all have some common understanding on the language or the concept of zones of comfort. Now I kind of want to explore why. With GPS, yes, but it's on your phone. So then you have the additional stress of trying to GPS on your phone, which is not supposed to be a thing, right? So where does that put you? Cool. I will clear that and turn off my annotations and hopefully take us to the new slide. Cool. There's a star remaining, but we'll leave it. So with comfort zones, I want to talk about some of the key factors to comfort zones. And this is where I'm going to encourage people to activate their microphones or use the chat box. When we're talking about these key factors, and these are just factors that I've identified on my side of things, why are comfort zones dynamic? What does that mean? So that means they change. Yes, absolutely. Um, give me some more, folks. If anybody's willing to turn on their mic for this, that'd be awesome. If not, variables. Okay, I love it. It's very situational. And really, it may shift depending on the day, right? So family may be comfortable unless there's conflict. Absolutely. Things evolved with knowledge and situation. So naturally, the factors within comfort zones is they're dynamic. Depending on the day, depending on the mood, things might shift. Now for this next piece, it depends on the individual. So one thing I'll say to that is everyone will have their own pace. So you all specifically, we could see from the stamps that we put onto this board, you as an individual definitely had your place on the board, and it was rarely the exact same place on the spectrum as somebody else. Now maybe you were close by, but there's going to be that level of nuance when it comes to zones of comfort. Depends on the activity as well. So depending on the activity, we have a different impact on where we stand within that comfort zone circle. What about growth? How is growth associated with being outside of your comfort zone? We've been talking about this concept of comfort zone, but what about growth and how does that fit in? Feel free to throw some things into the chat box, folks. So you do need to get out of your comfort zone to grow, absolutely. And a big part of it is your attitude. Pushing into new areas. If you stay in your comfort zone, well, you're comfortable, right? If I'm laying in bed all day, I'm probably going to be very comfortable. But that's not going to help me grow as a human being. And absolutely, you're touching on a key piece there. Some things get more comfortable with repetition. Thank you all. Let's see. So if we take that concept and run with it, that growth is a major component of our comfort zone. Let's continue to explore that into expansion. So how do you expand your comfort zone? We've kind of touched on it a little bit already, but how could I expand my comfort zone? How could you do so? Risk, I hear from Brian. Give me some more. How do I expand my comfort zone? Challenge yourself. Just do it. I believe that might be a Shia LaBeouf quote. I'm not 100% sure, or maybe that's a Nike slogan. Self-reflection, absolutely. There's multiple ways to expand that comfort zone. One piece that I find to be tried and true and a big part of the programming that we do within the challenge department is to continually expose people outside their comfort zone. And this is something that can be, it needs to be managed inherently. If I want to get more comfortable with the idea of skydiving, for example, I could absolutely just go skydiving, but that might push me too far, too fast into my danger zone. So I do one step at a time and continue to push further, as Melissa points out. So if I want to get more comfortable with the idea of skydiving, I might research. I might look at some YouTube videos. I might look at some testimonials, and I might push myself there. So I'm working myself up to the idea of, yeah, I can get behind skydiving. But if I just went out and jumped out of an airplane, I'm probably going to have a bad time. I might not be ready to get there. Yeah, so at Joyce, getting pushed into the deep of the end of the pool. Some folks are of the philosophy you got to just be in the deep water and start swimming. And technically, that could work. Realistically, that can also have some really detrimental effects to expanding that comfort zone. Now, going back to the importance of expanding your comfort zone, it also opens you up to new opportunities and possibilities. What do I mean by that? How does expanding your comfort zone give you a greater lens to look at the world through? Right, as you experience new things, new perspectives, new ideas. And this is funny to me. Feel free to continue to throw these things in. Um, uh, that's kind of what we're doing for our students sometimes. Whenever we are working with students, the population here at WSU, we're really broadening folks to their to a new perspective, a fresh take on something they may not have experienced. Um, for a lot of the people that we work with, they might all often be outside their comfort zone, and so we're helping folks constantly expand outside of their comfort zone. Be it they've never been to a location where there's this kind of population density, or they came to a place where it's less population density than they're used to. We're changing people's zone of comfort in some way, shape, or form, be it the education material, be it the experiences we provide for folks, the content we deliver. This is one of the key steps to helping people operate in and out of their comfort zone. Cool. So that's the short and sweet side of the conversation that I wanted to have with you all. Let's see if I can navigate my way back to Zoom now. I'm going to do it the easy way, stop share and restart the share because way easier. Cool. So that's the conversation that I wanted to have on zones of comfort. Short and sweet. I thank you all for your participation, your patience, and your time today. There's another one of these connections tomorrow. Same time, same place. This is going to be with Ramon, one of my colleagues, and he's going to be talking about broomstick mobility. And hopefully that gives you some information on what we're doing tomorrow. If you're more curious about different resources, one of my favorite resources that I've continually pulled from is this journal, this research article. Does pushing comfort zone produce peak learning experiences? It's absolutely something that's worth a read if you're into the academic side of this conversation. Cool. Thank you all for your time, and hopefully you all have a great day.